Thank you. Thank you for clicking on my video. My channel is Wipe the Lipstick Off the Pig. I am Yo, and my content is based off my life experiences. And the shade of lipstick getting wiped off the pig is trauma bonding. It's too light of a label for the insidious manipulative attacks carried out by narcs of all levels. Intentional trauma bonding is premeditated, mental, emotional, and spiritual abuse targeting an unsuspecting soul. That scene in The Matrix comes to mind. The barrage of bullets represents manipulative behaviors used to break down your very soul. Both the predator and prey dangerously play with empathy and manipulation. 8 years ago, I recall waiting for my premeditated soul breaker, aka PSB, to start and finish his first therapy session. Yes, fam, he volunteered to go to therapy. So there I was sitting in the waiting room. Suddenly, my PSB came over to me and stated his therapist wanted to see me. I was hesitant, but I obliged. Once seated, and after the pleasantries, his therapist spoke to me saying, I definitely can help him, and when I do, will you be able to take him back? Will you be willing to take him back? My answer: if I was sitting here with cracked ribs, 2 black eyes, and a broken leg, would you ask me that question? I was severely wounded, and unfortunately the scars were more than skin deep. I since recovered. The journey was long and hard, but you can heal and come out even stronger. I, like many of you, noticed the increase of narc survivors, and even narcs themselves vocalizing their viewpoints, and it's good to have so much information readily available. Take full advantage of that, fam. Take full advantage. I am sure you will agree. Society has been and continues to be in a state of confusion. Narcissistic abuse is an epidemic and is at an all-time high. All that is good is deemed bad, and all that is bad is embraced as good. Case in point, do you remember that controversial online dating ad starring Ryan Reynolds and Natalie Roy? Much of society thought it was hilarious a few years ago, matching the devil with a female who called herself the year 2020. Well, it's no laughing matter to empaths that were targeted by narcs. You see, I didn't understand the concept of energy. I didn't pay much attention to energy vampires or the beautiful souls that replenish energy right here on Earth. I used to naively refer to my divine team as simply intuition until I crossed paths with a leveled up narc. Then I realized that we were not alone in our 3D reality and that there is a spirit realm cloaked here influencing and utilizing the masses. To a small number of the population, the spirit realm is more real than this 3D world that we experience every day. Once again, I digress. Sounds to me like a much needed video that I will create in the very near future. Back to topic. Amid the swiping left or right, sifting for potential partners, some people embark on this journey via a digital meet or greet. That's when that message expressing interest hits your inbox from the premeditated soul breaker. By now, you've had a couple forms of communication, resulting in several exchanges between you two, which eventually upgrades to your personal cell phone. It is safe to say this begins the honeymoon stage, where both parties get the warm and fuzzies and talk for extended periods of time to essentially get to know one another. As far as society is concerned, this is a good thing. Fun and free-spirited, yes? Wrong answer. This is a critical time for the PSB. And more importantly, this is a very critical time for you. Let's delve into the premeditated soul breaker's vantage point. To be very clear, these seedy vessels do not go after the average Joes or Janes. They are in hot pursuit of souls, and not just any soul will do. They need a big-hearted, loving, and compassionate soul, one that is divinely guided, preferably, and it is imperative that the soul is under construction and or repair. PSBs can feel energy, and they know when a soul has been weakened by their kind. A great analogy is like putting fresh meat dripping with blood in shark-infested waters. These types are also referred to as dark empaths, and I speak about them in my videos. They are guided too, but their God is hated and spiteful of yours. These premeditated soul breakers need to know your desires. They are all ears, encouraging you to talk about your deepest secrets and insecurities, conjuring up some mirroring stories to solidify similarities. It is imperative they appear to be vulnerable. They must get you to put your guard down. It's essential that they coerce you into giving them the roadmap to your heart. In doing so, these demonically influenced vessels find themselves on a slippery slope. In their fact-finding pursuit, they can risk turning you off by becoming too inquisitive or aggressive, and will skillfully change their approach if they notice your irritation. Make no mistake, you have been sized up prior to the PSB even meeting you. They are predators, and they envisioned you as prey. See, you're still lighthearted and jovial with conversations, and believing how surreal it is that you found the needle in the haystack. Realistically, word salad doesn't even begin to describe what they're hitting you with. You are getting a smorgasbord of yourself and what you desire in a partner. They are mirroring you, molding themselves into whatever it is you dream of them to be. The crazy part is that they already feel that they know you. They already have a mental version of you as their ideal partner formulated in their head. This version of you isn't remotely close to the actual you. The PSB will spend however long it takes to to make you match their preconceived notions of you. They'll spend years combating you until you become what you believe to be a shell of yourself. But really, it's what they wanted you to be before they even met you in person. Yes, folks, it's that deep with the premeditated soul breaker, aka dark empath. The vessel wearing their best mask. By no means is this vessel anything close to the darkness he harbors inside of him. With such darkness, you'll feel something off via your intuition. When I sat across from my PSB, I felt a trail of tears. Not the historical reference, but I felt an unbelievable amount of emotional pain and instantly knew that this man before me had broken hearts of several women. I immediately wanted to leave, but I thought of free will and knew he had a choice. I was curious whether he'd choose love or be that same manipulating son of a other that I felt he'd always been. In retrospect, I should have hit the whole ass, but I stayed. And when you stay, I notice to you, you are not in a relationship. You think you are, but you're not. You will face a never-ending battle where the premeditated soul breaker has an arsenal of dehumanizing tactics that are meant to break your very soul. Displayed before you are some of the common control focus methods. These tactics are heavily used to chip away at you until you become the version of you they made up in their head. The blue font represents the PSB's intent to do you harm by twisting what should be positive and natural in a relationship and weaponizing them by forcing and faking them. Intentional trauma bonding goes on for as long as you stay in contact with them. Yes, even post-relationship. The PSB is not ready to let you go. Trust and believe, after they gave you the world, they will take everything away. So when they grace you with their presence and show up nice and or respectful, you are so love-starved that you will take their breadcrumbs of affection and potentially let them drain your energy with an exhausting back and forth long after they left you. You must go no contact. You cannot be friends with your abuser. You've probably noticed throughout the relationship, the more you attempted to hold them to respecting your boundaries, the more justified they felt in punishing you and would let you know it. They'll let you know it. Have you heard things like, "You took me for granted. I left you because you didn't want me." And my personal favorite, "You need to feel what life is like without me." It starts small with sarcasm and belittling jokes. In worst case, abandonment and triangulation. Think about it. Your partner is punishing you. Where does that fit into a healthy love dynamic between two adult people? Only you can break this cycle of abuse by going no contact and heal. Admittedly, not easy to do, yet achievable. Learn as much as you can about emotional, psychological, and spiritual abuse. Fortunately, there is a plethora of support out here from licensed psychologists and therapists, life coaches, targeted ones, and narc survivors. It is imperative to stick to the no contact, and if it's broken, keep trying until it's successfully completed. It is no secret that another tactic post relationship is for the premeditated soul breaker to keep coming around. They completely starved you out. No respect, no love, no emotion, no intimacy. So when they do show a hint of decency or normalcy without any abuse attached, you keep the revolving door open. See, you got to realize that just because they treat you with respect and decency, it's not a reward. That should be a requirement. Free yourself from free yourself from their abuse. Think of what you expected from them and give it to yourself. You deserve healthy love. Of course, it's not highly recommended after dealing with a narc or after a breakup that you just start again. Like, you need to take time. You got to take time for yourself to heal. If or when you do get back in the dating world, please vet your next partner. Exercise more caution than society promotes. Your soul is at stake. And please grow the channel by subscribing, hitting the notification bell for future content, and commenting. Thank you for watching.